I personally believe that utilitarian view is the best way to make decisions in your life when you are conflicted between multiple choices, and from between which choices to make when you're in a dilemma to what to do in life, particularly the negative utilitarian philosophy. I'm really a strong advocate of this philosophy because I think it's a really strong philosophy. The arguments behind this philosophy is very solid, and then pretty much you can take the best decisions in your life unless you are a complete psychopath. If you are a normal functioning human being, probably you're not gonna make any bad decisions by implementing this philosophy in your life. So in most cases, by following the negative utilitarian principle, you will make the right choices in your life. Now, what do we understand about the negative utilitarian view? Now, we know that the classic utilitarian view is that we must make any decisions by weighing out which action which would bring the maximum pleasure, and we would prioritize those decisions, those actions over others. So the priority here is to choose whatever thing that would bring most pleasure for most number of people, or maybe an individual. That's what utilitarianism is in a nutshell. And on the contrary, negative utilitarianism is the opposite, where you prioritize pain. So you would avoid making those decisions which maximize pain. So here you're prioritizing pain over pleasure, whereas in the classical utilitarianism you're prioritizing pleasure over pain. Now, why do I think that this kind of thinking is really good for making any sort of decisions in your life? Now, firstly, you must understand that using this philosophy, you will not go wrong, you will not make any harmful decisions in your life. And this is the first point. And the second point is, in almost every aspects of your life, in whatever decisions you make, there will always be some degree of pain involved in those decisions. For example, if you decide to choose a life of fitness, health, then you will have to sacrifice junk food, unhealthy lifestyles, binging on unhealthy foods, leading an unhealthy life, sleeping at different hours, etc., and skipping on Netflix, alcohol, drugs, etc. And by doing so, your health will improve. In the long run, you will find pleasure. So by choosing the life of fitness and health, you're getting long-term pleasure. But to get that, the cost that you're paying is short-term pain, the pain of discipline, the pain of lifting weights, maintaining strict diet, etc., and sacrificing pleasurable substances like alcohol, drugs, and pleasurable foods. So by sacrificing these short-term pleasures, you're investing towards long-term pleasure. And on the flip side, if you had chosen the life of unhealthy lifestyle, which is by binging on Netflix series, eating unhealthy foods, junk foods, getting whatever drugs that you could get, abusing substances, etc. In that case, obviously, you will find some temporary pleasures, monkey pleasures, or hedonistic feel. But in exchange, you will be suffering in the long term. You will be suffering from different diseases and societal problems when people will judge you for how you look and your lifestyles. This will impact you mentally. Not only physically are you harming yourself, but also mentally you are damaging yourself, because your self-esteem would get lowered. You lose your self-respect, and you will start hating yourself. So not only you're damaging yourself physically, but also mentally. and this will carry over also to your relationships and also your spiritual life. And we could argue that relationship is a part of our spiritual life. But the thing is, if you are not physically capable because of your unhealthy lifestyle, because of too much cortisols running through your veins, and too much fat and lipids, or what do you call it, or if your arteries are blocked, that enough bloods don't flow through your vein, or you run out of your stamina, breath easily, then obviously will not have a good chance in maintaining a relationship, because a huge chunk of your relationship depends on how much capable you are physically. So now, keeping that aside, so we can come to this conclusion that by choosing this sort of lifestyle, although you are getting short-term hedonistic pleasure by taking drugs, binging on Netflix videos, drugs, alcohol, and physical intimacies, random hookups, whatever, but doing that, you're investing towards long-term pain. With that pain is larger and more cruel than the pain that you would get from lifting an hour every day, or sacrificing some pleasurable drugs and unhealthy foods. So in the first option, in conclusion, in the first option where you were choosing the life of fitness, you had to sacrifice short-term pleasure, and in return you got long-term pleasure. You had to take short-term pain, and in the long term you avoided long-term pain like diseases, etc. But in the second option, where you chose unhealthy lifestyle, you took short-term pleasures, and because of that you got long-term pain, because you prioritize pleasure over pain here. Now, if you thought from utilitarian point of view, obviously anybody would choose the first option, because that's that's guaranteeing you maximum pleasure for just maximizing your pleasure. And if every people were to follow that healthy fit lifestyle, they would ensure themselves that most pleasure that they would get, or what they would expect in their life. However, if you are thinking from negative utilitarian view, obviously you would also prioritize the first option, that is the life of fitness, because the net pain, the short-term pain that you're getting by avoiding pleasurable substances, drugs, short-term pleasures, and the short temporary pain that you're getting from leading a life of discipline and fitness and lifting weights, waking up early, etc., that short amount of pain is nowhere near in comparison with the long-term pain that you would get from leading an unhealthy lifestyle, because there you're suffering from mental issues, physical issues, cognitive, relationships issues, and also religious and spiritual issues. And so in a nutshell, the pain here in a life of fitness, in a healthy life, when you're leading a healthy lifestyle, is far less than the pain that you would get from leading an unhealthy lifestyle. Therefore, a person who is inclined to believe in a negative utilitarian view would obviously prioritize the first option, that is the life of fitness, over this life of hedonism or unhealthy lifestyle. And that's why I think that the negative utilitarian view is the best way to make decision in your life. But you could argue that normal utilitarian or the classical utilitarian would serve the same purpose like the negative utilitarian, because in both cases we would choose the first option, the healthy lifestyle. But that is not the case, because our human psyche works differently. We are more motivated to run faster when we're chased by a hungry wolf than if we were to run to get an award, money, etc. We are more motivated to get up from our bed and go to work, because if we don't do that, we'd get fired. than to actually wake up early with this expectation that you would get raises or promotion for your punctuality. In conclusion, what I'm trying to say is that we are more motivated by fear, by death, than rewards. That's how our primal survival instincts work. Therefore, since this is a negative utilitarian view is embedded in our natural instincts of fear and survival and our primal instincts, therefore obviously I would think that when it comes to make any decisions in your life, negative utilitarian view is better than classical utilitarian. And that's why, in conclusion, in order to make any decisions in your life, I suggest to follow these principles of negative utilitarianism. Thank you.